from the look that's on your face. If heaven is a place on earth, right here is where it's made. You read it, so it must be wise, despite it being a pack of lies. Have I a bit that's on the side? Well, here's all I can say. No way. No way.
That's No Way from Latin Allergy, Gilbert O'Sullivan. Congratulations on the pipes hanging in there, because the vocals have hardly altered, and some of a certain vintage have, and yours haven't. Hang on, your microphone is not up for some reason. Having said his voice hasn't altered, it's got very quiet, I noticed. It's got a lot softer over the years. Try it again.
How's that?
There you go.
Perfect.
There you go.
I try to look after my voice, but I find it kind of strange. I've heard people say that he sounds just like he used to sound. I'm thinking, why wouldn't I?
No, you don't.
I mean, James Taylor, doesn't he sound pretty
James Taylor does, but there's...
Don McLean sound pretty much the same?
Yes, they do, but I can equally give you... I mean, I could be unkind here and say that some people don't. There's certainly a lot of people... They duck a few notes. Yeah. That's all right.
It's an age thing too. Of course, it affects your voice as you get older.
Yeah, but I think it's in the genes as well, perhaps, because, like you say, there are certain... did you always look after it? Because the first time I saw a musician do the da-da-da-da-da-da-da, I thought, oh, well, that's just affected. But it actually works, that stuff, doesn't it?
Well, in the beginning you don't, because I didn't come from a background of performing. I came from a background of writing. So that was just me in a room, so I didn't have microphones and stuff. So my knowledge of vocal treatment was very limited. And I had some horror stories, because Gordon Mills, who managed me, looked after Tom Jones.
Yes, of course, yeah.
And you felt that they understood voices. But there was no voice control for me, and one of the worst examples of where it went wrong was when I had a season at the Palladium, a sellout season, 2 shows a night, which I'd never ever done, because I only started touring in 72. So in 73, a week at the Palladium, 2 shows a night. Well, it was horrible, because in between each show I was on the floor taking all this medicine to try and get me to do the second show, because I had no knowledge, experience of voice control. I should never have been doing 2 shows a night. And
if you had, of course, all of those, preparations, treatments, warm-ups, that opera singers would rather, jump out the window than not do those. But in the pop and rock game, it was just assumed you went out there and it would just last. It would just last.
And, but if you have a classic voice, say Tom Jones has a classic voice and stuff, there's no question that whatever he does, what he doesn't do. I mean, Jerry Marsden, for example, of Jerry and the Pacemakers. I mean, we met him a few times when he came to Jersey, and he'll drink a bottle of something before he goes on.
Yeah.
And he sounds great.
Yeah.
So, but I mean,
bet he does.
So it's very important. I mean, as we get older, Dan, you know yourself, that one of my backing singers, Niamh McNally, so we go through a few of the motions before a show. She just gets she's very good.
Yeah,
so it works.
The first group I saw do that, or the first people, the Manhattan Transfer. I was doing a tour with the Manhattan Transfer, and they all went outside and started making the most extraordinary noises, and I really thought it was just affected. And they said, "You've never seen people do that before? What the hell do we?" I said, "Oh, rock singers just go out and do it," and they looked astounded, and that's why they sounded like the Manhattan Transfer, and possibly 1 or 2 people today can barely rise above a croak. That's when you first started performing, you said you kind of tumbled into it from writing for other people.
Not for other people, Danny, just for myself. I never.
Oh, I see. I thought because some of the, particularly the early songs, what's the Mr. Moody's Garden and things. They sounded, forgive me, but like demos, and you had put out demos. I wonder if you were shopping that stuff around.
No. April Music signed me as a writer and stuff. Interesting, because Mr. Moody's Garden was the B-side of I Wish I Could Cry, which the record company that I was with at that time, Major Man, kind of destroyed. They allowed me to go into Regent Sound on my own with a piano. I got my friend from college to do the voice on Mr. Moody's Garden. Yeah. And people like Kenny Everett played that. So I was really happy about just on my own.
You weren't hawking your material around then?
No. But the first, a couple of cover versions were done. I think I had an American guy, Tom Rush, who's very well known. He did a version.
Yeah, of course.
He did a version who came to see me yesterday in the Merry Month and stuff. So that's kind of nice. But no, I just wrote for myself. But the few songs that I was giving them, they were probably trying to place.
And when you first went out there, who were you supporting? Who were you?
No. The first success with Nothing Rhyme. What tends to happen is your first international success. You got a hit in Australia, you've got interest in America, you've got Japan wants you. So the good thing with Gordon was that because he was a very successful manager, and he knew how much the writing was important for me. He allowed me to kind of stay at home, which I wanted to do. So it meant that we never went to Australia with the success of Nothing Rhymes. We never went to America. We never went to Japan.
Oh.
Which is what tends to happen with first success, because generally first success comes with a new manager too.
Yeah.
So the new manager wants to go to all these places.
So how the impression of, paying your dues and doing that and supporting Deep Purple one night and then the Swingle Singers the next night, you didn't do any of that kind of stuff?
No, I was paying my dues by staying at home, working 8 hours a day, 5 days a week.
Which you still do, don't you?
Absolutely. It's the key to everything I do. I wouldn't be sitting here with you if it wasn't for the songs. And there's no way that I would have got away with the image I created without knowing. I mean, everybody liked the songs I was coming up with, but nobody liked how I looked. But for me, I was
What do you mean? Is this pre the kind of street urchin look or during that?
Well, no, from 67 when I came to London, I created that Chaplin jacket and the Buster Keaton look and the cap.
When was the last, do you remember the last time you took that off and thought, well, that's it? I'm never putting
once
that back on.
once the success
But was there an
came.
actual moment, though? Was there an actual moment you knew that was the last time you're going to be wearing that?
Yeah, I think so. It was just once the success happened when Nothing Rhymed, and then I think that I felt I'd achieved it, because I got an enormous amount of publicity, which is what it was created for. The interest was there, and how could somebody look like that and sound like this?
But it was also quite obvious at the time in the best way as well, because you had like Leo Sayo used to do the kind of a Poirot look, and the whole glam thing was rising. So that kind of image was not unusual, but it was essential, to get yourself noticed.
Not looking like me, Danny. I mean,
no.
For me,
do you regret it at all?
No. This is the great thing. I mean, people say to me. I mean, when I look back in retrospect, and I see the pictures, I'm really impressed that I got away with that.
Yeah.
Because you must remember, the CBS, the first record company to take an interest in me, they didn't like the image, and they said, "Look, grow your hair, look like James Taylor, put a denim shirt and jeans on, and I guarantee you'll sell far more records than you're ever going to sell looking like that." And they were right. There's no question, Danny, if you were a student in 1970 walking around a campus with a Gilbert O'Sullivan album, you'd have hidden it. But if you're walking around with a James Taylor album, or
you're right.
So that's the thing. So I knew I would sell more records, but no, I was determined to look like that. And even Gordon Mills didn't like it. But they liked the songs, so I was allowed to get away with it. And when you look at those pictures, I mean, when you think of the image of everybody at that period, because image was a dirty word, to have this guy so to have somebody who was capable of writing as good a songs as anybody around that time, to look like I looked, was freakish, but that's part of what...
But you say image was a dirty word, and yet even Status Quo probably didn't wear Tribble Dammin all day long, It was everyone had their own thing going on.
Absolutely.
So what was the first TV you did? Do you remember the first time you actually sat in the studio?
That was a revelation, because that was in 1968 when I went up to a programme up north in Manchester. I think it was called Look North, and Michael Parkinson, I think, was the presenter.
Oh, okay.
But it was live. So I said to my mum and my parents, God, I'm on my first TV. It was for my CBS record. I had the Chaplin jacket on with the cap and boots and stuff.
And it was local?
And it was mine. Yeah. So I did the TV show, and I left the studio to get the train back to London, and I was so down because I wouldn't see it. And nobody could see it because it was all over.
Well,
so it was really a sad occasion and not a happy occasion.
Have you seen it since? Does it survive, do you know?
I've been sent a couple of pictures taken from it, and one of the pictures has been used. We've used one of the pictures. You just see me sitting at the piano. My hair looks really fashionable because it's just a pudding basin haircut, which now is the height of fashion. But in those days, it looked pretty freaky.
One of my favourite comic stories, Billy Whiz. I don't remember Billy Whiz, the fastest boy in the world. He was so fast in one of his episodes. He was interviewed on the street by a TV crew, and who said, what do you think about so and so? And he gave the answer and said, when can I see this? I said, it was live. But Billy Whiz was so fast he got home to see it. That was in the Beano or whatever he used to turn up in. So you're coming with us. We'll come up to it was last year, the album.
Came out late last year, absolutely, yeah.
The title of the album, Latin Allergy, is that a pun? Is it an allergy to Latin?
No, it stems from my love of Peggy Lee.
Oh!
So if we go back to, if you're a young if you're a young songwriter, how you learn your craft is by listening to the great songs. And the best interpreters of female song, the best female interpreters of the song are Peggy Lee and Ella Fitzgerald. And the best male interpreter, arguably Sinatra. So if you're a young songwriter learning your craft, you listen to those songs. So I had lots of her albums. In 1960, she made 2 albums called Latin Alla Lee and Ole Alla Lee.
Oh, you're building. I know. now I feel dumb for not figuring that out. Of course it's an homage. But because you like a pun so much in some of your albums.
Oh, yeah, I'm still up for that.
I thought it was allergy to Latin, even though it's a Latin-flavoured album. That's what I thought it was. Of course it's the Peggy Lee thing.
So it's a homage to her. We did the cover. We reproduced the cover.
Yes, of course it is.
Instead of it's her with two matadors either side. Then you got me with two.
It's a subtle illusion, but one I should have picked up on. Now I feel dozy. Let's play a little. Won't get a time for a full one of these. A little blindfold jukebox. I've got 16 of your songs here. Right. Give me a number. We'll play it and we'll see what we get.
4.
Number 4. Oh, okay. Well, here we go. Number 4, please. You can cut off the list there. Put the headphones on. You'll hear exactly what we're.
Nothing wrong.
Yeah. Now, let's play a bit of this just because out of pure respect.
It's Herbie Flowers doing
if
that lovely bass.
I give up the seat I've been
Herbie
saving
Flowers.
to some elderly lady, oh man, am I being a good boy? Am I your pride and joy? Mother, please, if you please, say
Apologies for talking all over it. There's much to talk about. Say Herbie Flowers there. Is that it's?
Herbie did the bass. I mean, he's famous for doing the Walk on the Wild Side.
Yeah, and various. What did you get? 30 quid? Was it his session fee you got for that?
I have no idea, but why I remember that, Danny, is because that was the first recording session where I just loved what was happening because it was live. In 3-hour sessions in those days, you did 2 songs, A side and a B side.
Yeah.
So I was there with Herbie and the guitar player. I forget who the guitar player was. He didn't read, but he was a really well-known guitarist. Myself on piano and then drums. And we just did these 2, and it was just magic. I did live vocal, which Gordon was a bit frustrated by. Because when we left the studio, Gordon thought the piano was too loud. Because I like to sing and play at the same time, because that's what I do at home. I didn't want to go to a studio and stand in front of a mic.
Exactly.
I needed to have that feel. So Gordon would get me back into Decca Studios some weeks later and said, look, so he got me standing in front of a microphone to try and sing like Tom Jones. Sing Nothing Rhyme like that. It didn't work. So he in the end, he accepted that. So Nothing Rhyme was very special for me.
And is that showbiz cliche of listening to the playback and saying, son, you got your first hit?
No.
No.
Another example would be Alone Again. When Alone Again was recorded, again in a 3-hour session, it was recorded with a song called Out of the Question. And so everybody was there saying, nice track, Alone Again's nice and stuff. Out of the Question looks the most commercial. A decision had to be made about which to release. So everybody thought the most commercial song was Out of the Question. Nobody said.
Man.
But in a way, Danny, that's good, because what you never want is that feeling that you've written something that you think is a hit. What you need to think is that I've written what I think is a really good song.
Yeah.
And what you don't want are people in the studio to say, that's a hit. Because then the next time you go in the studio, you'll be saying, where's the guy that said this is a hit?
Yeah.
So you'll be looking for it. So what was nice with Alone Again was that people just said, yeah, it's nice. I even keep a review from Disc and Music Echo at the time, which just says, another nice little Gilbert O'Sullivan song could be a hit. So there's something kind of reassuring about that.
Lyrically, though, and I'm not blowing smoke at you, know this.
I know you like the lyrics.
I don't like the lyrics. I just think they are astoundingly good. And I've got to tell you, nothing moves me. Even when I was doing them to you, I was quoting, and I could quote your lyrics more than any other artist. And the depth of them, and they are emotionally just touch me. And I know my kids and everything know your stuff. I mean, this bit, just turn this up.
nothing sweeter than wine, nothing physically, recklessly, hopelessly blind, nothing I couldn't say, nothing why, 'cause today, nothing rhymed.
And the actual phrase, nothing rhymed, did that come out of frustration at writing lyrics, or is it...
No frustration, just joy. But it's just, I mean, I'm a working writer. I mean, that's my job.
But it just seemed, it's like Elvis Costello's accidents will happen, opens with the words, oh, I just don't know where to begin. And you can just imagine him sitting there and thinking, and I just wondered if nothing rhymed was actually you sitting thinking, okay, let's go. And I never understood what it might mean in the context of the song, that was all.
I mean, it just happens. I mean, my lyrics, Daniel, are a little like newspapers. I'll open up, the first page will be about one subject. Second page will be about something else. Then the common denominator will be the hook line, maybe.
Yeah.
So that's how it tends to work with me, because I'm a newspaper addict anyway.
You see, the thing in that it seems that it's so off-quoted now, and it seems, but I know you had to change the words to when I'm drinking the Bonaparte. Shandy.
No, because
they wouldn't let you do the brandy, yeah?
Yeah.
When I'm thinking about brandy, eating more than enough apple pie, well, I glance at my screen and see real human beings starved to death right in front of my eyes. You're not going to get that in pop anywhere else.
But that was the first time on television that we'd seen that kind of event. I mean, that just took us... incredible.
Yeah.
So that had an effect on all of us. You know, like when Robert Kennedy died, I wrote a song called I Wish I Could Cry.
Yeah.
Which that affected our generation and stuff, because we were so helpful. So things like that I read about and I write about, hopefully in a kind of subtle way without being too blatant.
Well, I'm and forgive me for quoting lyrics at you, but in Alone Again, looking back over the years, whatever else that appears, I remember I cried when my father died, never wishing to hide the tears. And at 65 years old, my mother, God rest her soul, couldn't understand why the only man she had ever loved had been taken, leaving her to start with a heart so badly broken. Despite encouragement from me, no words were ever spoken. And when she passed away, I cried and cried all day, alone again, naturally. That to me, take the seat, Bob Dylan. I mean, do you remember where you were when you came up with that? And because that can't be drawn from just craft, surely.
Yes, but an understanding of those kind of situations is very important as a lyricist if you want to get into a subject without experiencing it. Most people assume that Alone Again has, to some extent, based on fact, based on events happening. But no, I think if you're a good lyricist, you get into a subject. I mean, I was just sitting in the bungalow that I shared with another singer that Gordon put me in. It was the song I wrote. It was another song that I was really happy with, and then put it aside. Did you sit down?
I'm going to write. Believe me, I'm not damning it with kind of a catch-all phrase. Did you sit down and think, I'm going to write the most heartbreaking song? No. Because that's what it is. That's what it is. I mean, verse by verse, it destroys you.
I know. I mean, the reaction, the concerts we do, of course, you know, people sing along with it too. I let them sing the hook line and stuff, and I know I'm always astonished and humbled by people like yourself who have the feeling for the lyric for that. Because when I wrote it, Danny, I put my heart and soul into it. I want to write a good song that I'm happy with.
Yeah.
But that's it for me.
You're not thinking how it's going to affect...
No, I have no control. Big Jim Sullivan's beautiful guitar solo, God rest his soul. I mean, that's magical and stuff. But it's a really good record. But nobody's there saying this is going to be a huge success.
Well, I think it's a good thing that you don't realise how good that is, because otherwise you'd be... But equally, in something like We Will, where the word Bagsy turns up, of course. I Bagsy being in goal. And Jack Jones, I heard Jack Jones cover that. And he says, on Sunday next, if the weather holds, we'll have that game. But I insist on being in goal.
Andy Williams called me up when I was in America in the early 70s and asked me if he wanted to sing that song. And guess what? He asked me to change...
Did he?
Yeah, he said, I have no idea what Bagsy being in goal meant. Wonderful.
Let me ask you, have you ever played in goal? Is that drawn from life? Are you a goalkeeper at all?
No, but I'm a sports. My brother and I, Kevin, we love our football. Swindon, come on, Swindon.
Oh, yeah, of course.
But, you know, Manchester United, I mean, of course. So, I mean, the Bagsy being in goal is... because I'm a colloquial writer. I mean, I'm not an American-style songwriter, God forbid. I like to write the way people talk. But in that
same song, again, but you know that in that song...
It's a very Catholic song.
But turn the landing light off. Wait, leave it on.
And that's my mother.
Man alive, that is... Put on We Will. Let's play We Will. Number 10, if you could, please. And we'll come around, because I want to play Singapore as well, which I love from the last...
Oh, you like that?
Oh, man, yeah. I mean, yeah, that's a different kind of lyric altogether. But if you're number 10, if we could, please, just a little of this.
It's over now. You've had your fun. Get up them stairs. Go on quickly, don't run. Take off your shoes. The both of yous.
See that? Yous. Not you, not the both of you, the both of yous, which is what people say. It's colloquial, but it's that makes you think, oh, hang on. We're not dealing with just, you know, Moon, June, Spoon here. And that, turn the landing light off. No, wait, leave it on. It might make the night that much easier to be gone. Again, you're almost explaining like it's a mechanic, but it can't be a mechanical thing. That's what, literally a gift.
I think in terms of you analyse what makes you a writer, the writer you think you are, you're not born to write melodies. You're able to write melodies through your love of pop music.
Yeah.
George Harrison once said when he was in his 50s, he couldn't stand what he heard on the radio. Now, you go back to the George Harrison of 15 to 20, he would have loved what he heard on the radio.
Well,
and that's the influence you get to be able to write melodies without having a GC or a degree in doing it. But I think you're born with an ability to do words and stuff. I think that's there. And I think it's interesting if you picked out 10 people who write songs today, probably 7 of them only write lyrics and 3 of them write the music. It's always the hardest thing to come up with a good melody. So I feel that the wordplay is there, but I feel it's also important as an English songwriter. I'm Irish by birth, but I'm very much in the tradition of Ray Davies, McCartney and stuff as an English lyricist, which I think is very important. Elvis Costello is good, and Squeeze Guys are good lyricists. It's important if you're living here, writing here, you reflect the way people talk, and that should come out.
Because you say you're, independent of your own talent, is, fiercely protective of it. Was there ever any? Because when Alone Again was such a huge hit in America, was there any kind of go out to LA, join that whole scene?
No. I tried not to go to the Grammys. I didn't want to go to the Grammys. I was nominated for 3 Grammys.
Now, why wouldn't you want to go? That seems willful. Why wouldn't you
I didn't want to go to America. Look, for me, Danny, I didn't want to be like David Bowie, God rest his soul, to be a global international success. I wanted to be a success in England where I lived.
Wow.
And I wanted the postman to be whistling the tune when he went up to deliver the mail. That's what I saw success for. So I didn't see the big picture of being globally successful. It was wonderful to have it. There's no doubt all the people around me loved that. And Gordon said, you've been nominated for 3 Grammys. Listen, my first Ivor Novello, I was in bed in Gordon in the cottage again, and I get a call at 10 o'clock in the morning. It's Gordon says, hello Ray, you've got an award. I said, yeah. I said, what for? He said, it's the best romantic song. It's an Ivor Novello award. I said, what song is that? He said, it's for No Matter How I Try. No ceremony. There was no ceremony.
No.
Nobody had sent me a letter to say you're being
outed.
So that's the first Ivor Novello I received. So here we are. So we move on to the Grammys. So never been to America. I said to God, it's nice to be nominated, but I'd much rather stay at home. I'm not a red carpet person. So Gordon said, you've got to go. You've been nominated for 3 Grammys. It's very important. So here's the interesting thing about this. I was nominated for 3 Grammys. Don McLean was nominated for 4. And because we were the only live performers, they sort of say to you,
you got it. You're
going to get it because you're live. So Don and myself are live. Harry Nilsson, who's up for Without You, as best vocal and best pop song, and Roberta Flack, first time ever I saw your face. Okay.
Wow.
So I'm getting changed to perform the song, and so everybody's coming up. All these people coming, tap me on the shoulder, saying,
got it. Well done.
I go outside, perform Alone Again. I have to sit in the audience, and people are looking at Gordon, going, right?
Yeah.
So I don't get it, right? So we don't get anything. So I go back to the dressing room to change. Well, the people who have tapped me on the shoulder completely ignore me.
Yeah.
Now here's the other interesting thing is Don, who performed as well. He was nominated for 4 for American Pie. He didn't win 1 either. Isn't that amazing?
Who did take it that year, do you know?
Yeah, Without You took the best pop song.
See,
and Roberta took it for best song, First Time Ever I Saw Your Face.
Here's the thing, this is what Tony Bennett said about Sinatra, a singer like Sinatra only comes along once in a lifetime. Why did it have to be my lifetime? If you're at the Grammys, you got Roberta Flack, you got Don McLean, you got Nielsen, you got yourself. It's not like losing to Jason Donovan, is it? You got to say,
well, no disrespect to Jason and stuff, but I mean,
I think there is.
But I feel bad more for Don than I do for myself and stuff. I mean, of course, it's nice to be nominated. There's no question about that. As an actor, to be nominated for an Academy Award, but I felt bad for Don. But apparently, in those days, for success, they don't give it to you. If you have more success, maybe they'll give it to you the next time and stuff.
And by the way, I noticed when you were shown in, you said Gilbert, sit over there. Do people call you Gilbert or Ray?
Whatever. I mean, now that you know me so well, it should just be right.
And you know what? We're done. We're out of time. And I know one thing, and quite rightly frustrates the hell out of you, is that people have this image that you didn't record for 25 years or something when you're album after album after album, including Latin Allergy, which is a terrific album.
Thank you.
And the single No Way, which is Radio 2 are good enough to a playlist. I tried to get a playlist here, but apparently we don't have one. But you're on tour at the moment. You're going to Darlington, Buxton, Dartford, Liverpool, Preston, etc., etc. But seriously, I'm a fan from way back, and I continue to be so.
I appreciate that, Dan.
And it's a pleasure to talk to you this morning. I had a million questions we didn't get around to, but all the best, my friend, and the album, the single, and great to see you.
And here's to the next series for you.
Bless you. There's all of that. Thank you very much indeed, Gilbert O'Sullivan. Some say Ray. Away we go.
On digital, online, smartphone and tablet. This is BBC 5 Live.
And the